I care more about how my life looks than how it feels. This isn't vanity, it's conditioning. I care more about how my life looks than how it feels. I wonder how many people will agree with this. And maybe not initially, maybe under some digging, but how many people will agree they care more about how their life actually looks for other people than it feels internally? So how do you think people try and make their life look, Will? Let's talk in a general sense before we talk about us. What parameters do you think people perceive they need to live by? What's society's standards of success?
I think society says you should have the car and the house. You should have the nice clothes. You should have the hot wife. You should have the kids that are high performers in school. You should have the job that everyone is envious of. I think it's funny. The game everyone is taught to play is how jealous can you make other people, or how envious can you make other people?
How outwardly can I live my life that it makes other people envious of what I have?
Yeah, that's it. I think probably looks come into it as well. So how ripped are you is a big bit of living for other people.
Do you think? Do you think that's the case for most people or everyone that tries to get in shape? Because I suppose there's always some level of vanity that comes into weight training or training of some regard. You know, everyone that goes to the gym probably likes to want to look better outwardly, whether that's for external validation or internal validation. Slightly different, but yeah, do you think everyone cares about that?
I think so. I don't think there's anybody who wouldn't want to be in quote unquote better shape. I think the people who, like me, for example, who actively make the decision not to be in better shape is they've done a cost benefit analysis of should I focus on work or should I focus on my family more than I should focus on my physical health for now. And that's whether they've thought about it in so many words or not is another thing. But they've done some sort of analysis on, you know, I'd rather do this than that, and that's why I'm not working out. But I suppose there's other people who are just like, they really love their life just drinking beer, watching the NFL. That stereotype, you know?
Brings them joy, yeah.
Gaming on an evening, like, no, I'd just rather, like, it's more important to me right now that I have the best score in this game than I do.
So what jumps to mind for me when I think about I care more about how my life looks and how it feels is the halo effect. Have you ever heard of this? Halo effect suggests that people that we perceive to be more attractive tend to receive more opportunities than others. So we perceive that someone that is more sort of outwardly attractive, more outwardly confident is likely going to be more trusting, likely going to have a better job, likely going to be kinder, more considerate. And that's just an assumption we make based on looks. So when it comes to care about how your life looks, if you can present a well-oiled front of, like you said, successful job, successful partner that's outwardly attractive, you're outwardly attractive, nice house, car, whatever it might be, we're going to probably likely have some sort of psychological internal dialogue that suggests this person's trustworthy. This person is someone that can add value to my life. There's someone that can add value to society. So I suppose there's a lot of people that maybe want to live outwardly in that regard because it then helps them feel more established in their sense of community.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So the halo effect is, interesting. Do you think the halo effect has an influence on you? Do you trust more attractive people? Like, do you trust me more than you?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's rude.
But that's only because I have learnt to trust my own decision making. Had you asked me at 10,000 subscribers, I'd probably trust you.
That was more of a tongue-in-cheek joke, but would you trust, say, someone that was in maybe slightly nicer clothes, maybe slightly more physically attractive, regardless of personalities, based on purely, you ask for directions, they're both giving you different ones, is there one that you would trust more than others?
Depends on where I wanted to go. But like if I was asking for the local skate park and I asked the guy in a suit versus the guy in skater clothes, I'd probably trust the guy in skater clothes. If I was asking for where the Google office is, I'd probably ask the guy in the suit. You know, it depends. I don't think it's impacted my generation as much, our generation as much, because we now know that you can be a high-level CEO, wear a t-shirt and jeans, and you can be worth way more than somebody who is wearing a suit. Because now, to me, if you wear a suit, that implies that you're trying to impress somebody.
Almost virtue signaling.
Yeah. And the real bosses, like Alex Hormozy, he does not dress like 100 millionaire, a centimillionaire. He just doesn't. He looks like a lumberjack that
Tank
turns
top
up
and
late.
shorts,
you know,
and a flannel shirt.
Yeah, like, but the aura around that is crazy. Like, he's at a point, like billionaires, they just don't
counter signaling.
Yeah,
though, isn't it, Alex Hormozy? That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but that's what you can afford to do, and it's sort of why I didn't dress up smart when I went to LiveCon. Because I thought, no, I'm just going to be authentically me. I'm not going to try and impress, because I actually don't value what the other people think about me.
Did you wear trackies or did you wear jeans?
What did I wear? I wore these, which are like cargo,
cargos. Okay,
cuffed
good.
cargos, and then day one I wore jeans.
Okay, good.
But it wasn't like a decision specifically that I made. It was
Just
that was what was on the floor next to my bed. Like, that's literally all the thought that goes into my whatever's the closest to reach is what I wear.
But I suppose when this, and we will get onto how this impacts you, but I suppose maybe you care more about how your life feels than outwardly looks. Whereas I suppose a reason people care about how, another reason I should say why people care about how life looks for them is aesthetically pleasing surroundings, whether that's a home, fashion, art, nature, whatever it might be, has a profound impact on mood. You know, it will help reduce stress, help like release dopamine, probably helps form a sense of identity as well. So I suppose that's another reason why people care outwardly about how something looks, because it helps them influence their mood in a positive way. Maybe it's just one of those small signals that we can produce in ourselves to help boost serotonin, boost that feel-good chemical, or even our sense of identity.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. Any other reasons you think that people might maybe care more so about how their life looks? Reason I think is maybe people use it as a motivation. You know, like if they can portray that they have the nice car, they can portray they have the nice clothes, or portray that they take care of their physical appearance, maybe it's helping them actually put weight onto these things and also improve and give them a goal to work towards. You know, like if I can outwardly act like I have these things, then they will in turn become important for me.
Yeah, that I think was, is it Tim Ferriss? I think it was Tim Ferriss, I could be wrong. But there's this guy's dad who, his mentors told him, buy everything you can on finance so that you have all the nice things, and then you've got to afford it. You've got to come up with the money each month to pay for your new Rolls Royce, and you've got to afford the mortgage on your £20 million house.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I get the mindset.
But that was how he looked. And then his mum was like, oh no, we're going to count the pennies, save the pennies, and we're going to, you know, everything we've got, we're going to hold on to it, and we're going to, you know, it was like, so that marriage was doomed to fail.
Big time.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because that's a direct collision of just being happy with what you've got and holding on to it and protecting what you've got versus virtue signaling to the world and wanting to better yourself. And that was what he was doing. I was thinking the other reason you might do it is to attract a mate.
Yeah.
If you look more successful, you're going to attract people to you. That's what happens.
It's interesting because I've thought about that a lot, you know. I don't know if I called it a date, but I went out with a girl not too long ago, and you know, like she's got a Mercedes in the driveway.
Lovely. I've
got a Nissan Micra. I don't care about cars, but maybe that person does. Again, obviously it wasn't a date, so it was a slightly different dynamic, but I wonder how it would appear for someone that you are trying to impress, whether that's boy, girl, whoever it might be. You turn up at their house and you've got a little beat-up banger. Again, depends on the person. They might be like, you know, I don't care about cars too. Whereas they might be like, oof. Yeah. Is this what this guy drives around?
When I was an estate agent, they said, we really want you to have a company car.
I don't blame them.
Because they didn't want me turning up to viewings in my car. But I refused. I was like, no. And they're like, yeah, but we're going to stop paying your fuel for you. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I like my car. I don't want you, because also like, there was tax disadvantages as well, which they didn't anticipate a 19-year-old to understand.
Yeah.
And it also meant they could reduce my £14,000 a year salary. It was like, what are you on about?
But again, it's virtue signaling as well in that regard, because the company wants to put a best foot forwards. Because if we're making assumptions on someone in the first 7 seconds of meeting them, those small little signals of, oh, he's turned up in a nice car, or he's got an expensive suit on, oh, no, he's well groomed, that's going to go, this is a man that's in charge of his life. That's an assumption. It's not necessarily true or false. Whereas if someone turns up in a beat-up car, has not groomed themselves, is wearing odd socks and a suit that's kind of a bit oversized or undersized, your assumption would be, oh, this person hasn't got like their stuff together, have they? You know, so it's all signals of how outwardly we could look. I suppose as well, outwardly looking similar to attracting a mate is self-expression. If we're caring about how we're looking, we are expressing ourselves outwardly, which again, someone might find attractive because, like, I like the way this person expresses themselves, I like the way they dress, I like the way they care for themselves. So caring about how you look isn't necessarily a negative, and it isn't necessarily narcissistic or self-centered, but it can have connotations that are maybe implying that you're doing it for outward affection rather than internal validation. But I suppose there's an argument here that said prioritizing how it feels, which is more of the authenticity side of it. Because if you've cultivated a life that feels good regardless of how it looks, there's an argument you're going to be experiencing a whole lot higher level of fulfillment. You know, you're going to have a higher level of happiness, or rather, more likely to receive happiness of the emotion, more purpose, more fulfillment, ultimately internal experiences, and not external achievements or possessions. You're going to be more inwardly focused than you are looking for those external achievements. So it's going to give you a true sense of fulfillment, I feel like, caring about how your life feels.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you can also just put your vanity into other places. Like, I don't care about how I look necessarily physically, but I do care about how I'm perceived as a YouTuber, and like the difference in reactions I get when I say I run a 400,000 subscriber YouTube channel versus when I used to say, oh no, I do YouTube and it's 3,000 subscribers or 5,000 subscribers. And that makes me feel good to be able to say that. But also that's my virtue signaling, if you like, is like, no, look, I am somebody worth you spending time with.
I suppose that's how it looks though, isn't it? Because your life looks better when you say you've got a high subscriber count.
Yeah.
I suppose it's less about how it feels, more for you would feel better regardless of the subscriber count, how engaged your community is.
Yeah.
Because that would be giving you true fulfillment. But as well, that kind of touches on like authenticity of connections. So if you are feeling really fulfilled in your life and you're caring about how your life feels on the day-to-day for you, you're likely going to be able to connect with people on a more authentic level, providing they also can match you at that level, because you don't need to virtue signal. The person is not going to care about the external signals that you're giving me. I'm going to get to know you on the internal. You know, what makes you tick? What do you love? What do you hate? Who is Will as a person before who is Will with his nice car? You know, tell me about the new car you've just bought. Tell me about a holiday you've just gone on.
Yeah.
You know? So I suppose living an authentic life is really important because you've got to be aligned with your core values and beliefs. And again, that's deeply rooted in how you feel about your life.
I think there's also quite a lot of pressure attached to it in terms of, and this is something that I dealt with when I hit 100k, was I feel like I should be doing the things that I've seen the big YouTubers do now. And it's living up to the previous expectations you would have of the ideology of a 100,000 subscriber YouTuber. Oh, they should be going to London more. They should be going on really nice holidays, and they should be doing brand deals, and they should be driving the nice cars, and they should be buying a new house for a new video, and buying a car just to put in the video. My new car will be the title of the video, and then a picture of the Tesla. You know, you've seen it happen 1,000 times with YouTubers. They've all done it. And I think acknowledging the fact that they reach that point naturally in their lives. They didn't do it just because it was a YouTube video. They did it because they were living their lives and were authentically sharing what was happening.
But I wonder how many YouTubers do it because they care about how it looks rather than, it's naturally happened in their progression.
I think there was probably an era where somebody would have made a video about their new car that did really well, and they were like, oh, that video did so well, I might as well buy a new car because I'll still make a profit on the video. There was probably an element of that, and now people, I think, are less turned on by watching somebody else's lavish lifestyle. I don't think it's glorified in the same way anymore. I think people are prioritizing things like internal wellness, and
the world is shifting, isn't it, towards more of a mental self-care rather than outward validation.
Like, it's more celebrated, I think, now to be of sound and stable mind than it is to be
overtly successful
and just materialistically successful. It's like, I don't think people care. I think people are more excited by the person who is able to achieve earning a lot of money still, but while remaining psychologically well.
So I'm curious, how do you think you'd be able to tell the difference between two people, of someone that was maybe caring about how their life looked versus someone that was caring about how their life felt?
How would I be able to tell the difference?
Do you think that's something you could tell a difference on?
Visually,
or maybe through interaction? Because I'm curious, maybe visually it is a case of you might make assumptions that someone is caring about how their life looks just by how you're looking at them, because obviously that is all outward signals. But again, you're not going to know till you talk to them. Because someone might honestly find true fulfillment in having a really nice house, a really nice car. They've worked hard, so they really want to feel nice in the things they've bought. That's both looking good outwardly, that's also feeling good internally. That's probably a sense of true fulfillment. And if they're feeling fulfilled, they're going to have strong interpersonal connections. But I suppose it all comes down to just communication with the person, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if you were just to have a phone call with them, would be a fair analysis, because you can't be thrown off by visuals. And I think maybe even the person that was trying to signal would be the type to name drop, would be the type to talk about the things that they've just bought and be more showy-offy with the things they've done. Oh, I've just come back from a 2-week holiday in Bali and I spent loads of money while I was there. Whereas the person who's just living for them is like, if you ask them about what they've done recently, it'd be like, oh, I had a really great experience doing this. But it would be something not necessarily expensive or lavish. It would be, or even just the way it's described would be more humble. It'd
Maybe
be like,
they're not looking for you to validate what they've done.
I had an amazing opportunity to go and meet this other person, and it really surprised me on how plain their life was compared to the expectation. And it's just the way that they would phrase it would be not, I'm not showing off here. I was like, I was gifted with an incredible opportunity to go and do this, or I was blessed to be able to go on this silent retreat or this whatever it was.
I wonder if it comes down to that confidence versus arrogance. Confidence is self-assured, arrogance is at the expense of others.
I don't even think it needs to be at the expense of others necessarily.
That's where I think arrogance comes from for me. Is, someone that's arrogant normally needs to feel better at the expense of someone else. I need to feel like I'm better than. Whereas confidence is a self-assured nature. You can be doing well and I can be doing well. The two can coexist. Whereas if I was arrogant, I wouldn't want you to be doing well.
It could also be insecurity. Like, I feel like the person who virtue signals and buys all the things to look better than they maybe are is insecure about not feeling enough as a person. So therefore they have to buy all these things so that other people think more of them without them actually needing to do any self-development. Whereas the person who feels perfectly comfortable with themselves and the things in their life aren't going to impact their relationship with themselves, then they're more likely to, I don't know, come off more humble and...
Yeah, I see the point you're saying, absolutely. I think what you're saying there is almost living for yourself and not for others. That person is living authentically for themselves and not for others. They don't really care. Your opinion doesn't have too much weight on their decision making, I suppose is where I'm getting.
Yeah, it's with or without you energy.
Yeah, this is it. And they are less worried about the quote-unquote picture-perfect life. They're more just worried about a good life, a sense of meaning in their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. So you care about more about how your life looks and how it feels. I think I know where both of us sit on this one. I'm curious. Where do you feel like you sit?
Guess.
Ooh. I said it confidently, but I do feel like at the moment you do care more about how it looks.
Ooh.
Because you are outwardly focused towards YouTube.
Maybe.
But I also feel like I've said this before, you have this weird duality. Where outwardly you do care about how it looks because you want to be perceived to be doing well. And you have said before that you know now that your opinion has more value because you've got the 450,000 subscribers. Whereas before, when you had 10,000, it's like, well, no one cared. It's like, well, no, all of those things were all true regardless of the count. But also you have this duality where you are so authentically living your life that you just love how it feels. So you don't virtue signal in terms of like clothes, car, success symbols, because you could get them if you wanted them. If you don't care for those, you care about how your life looks in regards to YouTube.
Yeah.
But how it feels is very much based around you. So you're in this weird duality of the two.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough, actually. Thank you for elaborating, because I would have been offended otherwise.
Don't you worry, I'll always elaborate. But I think maybe this one is always a spectrum.
Yeah.
Because I'll answer for myself. There's definitely times I care about how my life looks. Absolutely. I dress nice to impress others. Like, I love how I dress, and definitely that's for me. It makes me feel very confident.
It's nice for me as well, because I get to look at nicely dressed people and I don't have to worry about dressing nice myself.
You get the, so I know there's times I am more outwardly focused than internally focused, but I also know there's times where I am significantly more just worried about how my life feels. You know, if I cared about how my life looked, I wouldn't be leaving the corporate job.
Well, I don't know. You're still traveling, which is very cool.
I'm just a cool person, mate.
Yeah, I know, but this is exactly the thing, right? It's like you are so like cool, and therefore like going traveling, like it fits the image of Connor really nicely, because it's like you get to go and do awesome things. Because why wouldn't a cool person go and do awesome things? It's like, and it also you're just like a chill guy. You're like, yeah, man, I'm Connor. Yeah, like that's Connor. He's just a cool dude.
I appreciate it.
So going traveling and doing all these, having these amazing experiences, like I'd expect nothing less from you, you know?
This avatar that's Connor.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, because it's something I've cultivated
Yeah.
and work on daily to
Yeah.
come across as the cool person.
No, it's good. It works.
I wonder if other people have that perception of me.
I think they do. I
you
think that is Connor.
We'll see.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
You are seen as the cool guy.
Someone let me know in the comments whether you perceive me as cool. I don't care whether you do or not.
I knew Connor when he was in year 1 with me at school, and he was not cool.
In school, I was definitely not cool. Jesus. Yeah, that was a good one, man. We had a lot of talking points about that one. So I care more about how my life looks than how it feels. So we're having a deeper insight into the conversations of thoughts that people have but don't really admit out loud, which is a really cool little topic. So we're actually going to dive deep into them. The next one, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't actually know what I want. I just know what I don't want.
Yes. Very good.
I don't actually know what I want. I just know what I don't want.
That's the acting out of fear or running away is where my mind jumps then.
Elaborate on that, because this one's... The wording of it confuses me, so elaborate,
quite
please.
wordy. So the way I see it is you definitely know what you don't want to do in life. And I think it's very easy when you don't know what you want to do to say, well, I definitely don't want to do this, 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 and this. So for me, I don't want to be an accountant. I don't want to be an estate agent. I don't want to work at Sainsbury's. I don't want to be a flips coach. Mm-hmm. I left tennis coach out because I actually quite enjoy that. I wouldn't, if all of this goes tits up, I'll be a tennis coach. But just that very idea of knowing what you don't want to do pushes you and gives you walls to bounce off of to push you in the right direction. And there's when you're making decisions, you don't have to worry about making the right decision. You have to worry about making a directionally correct decision. So directionally, it's better for me to be self-employed and have all the opportunities open than it is for me to directionally choose to go into a job where you're going to have defined descriptions of what you're expected to do.
Mm-hmm.
So directionally, that was a very big decision and correct. Does that clear up?
It does, I suppose, yeah. So it's easier to understand what one doesn't want in life. Whereas to understand exactly what you want is hard. One, because we are multi-layered humans with deep thoughts, feelings, and insights that are constantly changing. But we also live in a world full of opportunities where knowing what you want isn't as easy as it used to be.
Yeah.
So it's easy to know what you don't want because we know what we don't want, because that's easy.
You can lean into the negativity bias as well. It's a lot easier to point out what you don't want than it is to point out what you do.
Interesting. Yeah, that's very, very right. Very astute. Yeah, it's easy to point out what you don't want because we are trained to pick out what we don't like. We are, to keep us safe, we're constantly picking out elements of our life that we don't like so we can change it.
Yeah. What are some things in your life that you don't like or don't want to be, like directionally would be incorrect for you? What are the things that you don't want?
That I don't want? Wow. I do actually find that quite difficult.
Do you?
Yeah, because you know me, I like the idea of being
open to everything.
So I find that quite difficult. But what I don't want is I don't want to be like out of shape or unhealthy. I don't want to have people that don't improve my life, that I can't have deep, honest social connections with. What I don't want. I actually find that really difficult.
A 9 to 5?
Yeah, I don't want a 9 to 5, yeah. I don't want an office job, which is ironic because I've just been in an office job for 2 years.
But that was directionally, you needed to do that to learn.
Well, I've always knew I never wanted an office job, and I still went into it. But the problem is the more I understand of this world, the higher up you get within companies, the more you get pushed towards an office job anyway. And I suppose this isn't necessarily an office job, but
you have autonomy.
Yeah, it's slightly different, I guess.
If you didn't want to record today, we didn't have to record today. There's no we went out for lunch. There was no time cap on it. We didn't only have a half-hour window for lunch. We couldn't have gone out if we only had a half-hour window.
Very true. Very true.
And the price we pay for that is zero income.
It's great. I love it.
Go to Huel and buy something from Huel. We can get you money off if you use our link down below, and you can click using this QR code just here. And thank you very much for our friends over at Huel for providing us with some Huel that we both drank. And my favourite flavour is berry or maybe salted caramel. You like the chocolate one.
Chocolate or black edition cookies and cream.
Oh, yeah, you did say you like that one. Yeah, so go and tell us what is your favourite. I've put together in there some of our favourite choices. And hopefully you'll be able to avoid eating by drinking Huel.
So what don't you want, Will? I feel like you've got a long list, my friend.
Well, it's been a process of elimination to find what I do like. By just trying so many things, I've realised I didn't want to do them. So I tried estate agency, and that didn't fit 100%. And I sort of knew going into it wasn't going to be right. But directionally it was semi-correct because I did want to own property, and I thought, well, if I get into an industry that's low barrier to entry that could teach me more about property ownership and the rental market, then that's semi-directionally correct. But that's not what I want to do. I don't want to just be selling houses. So then I moved to accountancy, and I thought, well, if I want to run my own business and I want to own these houses and rent them out, I need to probably understand the accounts behind it. So I moved over there, then decided I definitely don't want to be an accountant full time, but it's worthwhile having some of that financial knowledge and backing. So it's my decisions throughout my life have been deliberately ticking things off to know, okay, that's definitely not the vehicle I'm going to use, but it could always have some knock-on benefits, which are going to be like just understanding the world better that I'm trying to get into. Other things I don't want, I really don't care about having a super flashy car. If I have, I was talking to you the other day actually about buying a chain.
You were, yeah.
I wouldn't buy a chain. Like the whole point to me of having jewellery and looking nice is completely a signal to say I am very successful and I have achieved X, Y, and Z, and is all the things that we've been talking about basically. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it makes no sense to buy a £20, £30, £100, £1,000, £5,000 chain. It makes more sense to not buy any of it until you could feasibly afford the £10,000 one, at which case, if you still want a chain and you want it, and it's going to be worth £10,000 and you can spend that on it, you've actually earned the right to own that chain.
I disagree, but that's because we come at fashion from very different...
We do. And for me, it would purely be a virtue signal.
Yeah.
If I was to do it, like I'd be doing it because I want to look like a particular rapper, or I want to look like I want to have a particular image for some sort of benefit to me.
Someone that has X amount of money to be able to spend it on a chain.
Yeah, and then when somebody says, "Oh, your thing's fake," it's like, no, this is more than you earn in a year. It's like that's the whole point to me of wanting to own a chain. It's the same thing with watches. Like, yes, I've got a nice watch. It was an amazing gift I received, and like I wear it, but I haven't upgraded it as my income's gone up because it's a watch fundamentally. It tells the time. My phone tells the time. I don't need a watch. In fact, I've only recently just got it back from the shop because the strap was broken for a year and I just didn't wear a watch. My previous watch before that, I got when some insurance money paid out for when we were burgled as kids. Mum had additional vouchers or whatever to spend. So got me a watch with like £100 or whatever, maybe £200, which is a lot to give an 11-year-old. And I wore that watch every single day for 11 years. I just didn't care. It's like...
I wore my £10 Casio for 7-8 years. I loved that.
Yeah.
That went all around the world with me. The battery never died. And now I've got a second-hand Apple Watch that cost me 80 quid.
Nice.
It's great because it tracks surfing. I love it.
Does it?
It's so cool.
That's
like
awesome.
You can see an app where it tracks you where you've surfed and everything.
That's crazy.
Sick. I love it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I understand. So I suppose when we're talking about this one here, not knowing what you want and moving towards what you do want, I suppose the first way to go about this, I should say, is making a don't want list. You know, like understanding with concrete fact, evidence, hard proof, I do not want. So write down all the specific things that you don't want in your life, whether it's feelings, environments that you want to eliminate, and understanding why you don't want that and what makes the situation bad. What feelings do I want to avoid? If you can make that list concrete, that's a really great place to start, because what you can do then is you can invert it. So like if I don't want to be disrespected in my job, I want to be treated with respect in my job. So that's a clear diswant to then a want.
Do you know whose toes you're treading on right now?
Who's that?
Alex Hormozy.
Am I?
Yeah. In his book, $100 Million Offers, he's literally uses this as a technique to decide what you should sell.
Interesting.
Says, write down, or if you don't know what to sell, you write down all the problems that somebody in your industry would have, because it's a lot easier to come up with problems. And then you automatically flip it to how to fix said problem. You don't need to have the solution at this point, but that's the title of the product. And then it's like, okay, now the work begins on figuring out how to solve that problem, and then you've got a product to sell.
Because you've got a starting point.
Yeah.
You've gone from what you don't want and all the issues and the reasons why you can't do it, to suddenly, I've got a game plan. I've got an issue that I can solve. I can fix the gap in the market. Like, I don't want to be stuck in a boring routine. That's one for me. Like, I don't want the 9 to 5. I don't want to be stuck in a boring routine. That's a don't want. If I flip it, well, I want my life to be filled with variety, new challenges, creativity, opportunities. That's what I want. Wow, that was so easy because I just understood what I didn't want. That's crazy. So I suppose you can't just focus on outcomes. You've got to focus on the experience and the feeling at the same time.
Yes.
Because instead of fixating on like a job title or a destination, focus on how you want to feel on the daily basis. Because in reality, the outcome is 10%. The 90% is the day-to-day grind.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's understanding as well your personal tendencies. Like, I know that I love working, but I also know that I work and then I will have a day and a half period where I am just useless and I can't do it. I'm not going to force myself to work on those days. There's not really any jobs where you can choose what day that is.
Yeah, true.
Being self-employed is a great way to choose that day.
I can't come in today. I'm just not feeling it. But I'll come in tomorrow. I know I'll schedule for day off tomorrow, but I'm just going to take it today and I'll come in.
Yeah. You can't do that, you know? So little things like that can really help widen your possibilities and make you realise, actually, you know, is flexibility something that I value, or do I rather have a rigid schedule and know when my days are going to be off, and I'm just going to suffer through the days where I'm maybe not feeling it because I'm guaranteed a weekend, and if I work on that weekend, it doesn't increase my paycheck. Like, That could be what you prefer.
Yeah, I like that. That's really nice. One thing I've been thinking about with this one as well is, I suppose many people probably rush this phase of their life of not knowing. Not knowing exactly what you want, but knowing what you don't want. People probably rush that because it feels inherently unstable or unsustainable. And also there's probably a fear in admitting I don't know.
And the pressures of others as
This
well.
is it.
Parents are going to want you to get a job when you turn 18. It's like, but you don't know what...
But I also think this isn't limited to 18 or adolescence. I think this is very much any time in your life you might be hit with a overpowering realization that you don't know what you want anymore. I think in that stage you can't rush it, because if you rush into something without maybe thinking it through or understanding what you don't want and flipping it to what you do want, you're going to feel lost.
Have I told you about what I did when I left accountancy?
You have not.
I deliberately did nothing for 3 months. I was fortunate enough from accountancy and all my previous jobs, and because I've been saving for a house since I was like prepubescent, I had some savings, so I knew I could afford myself a few months of... My goal is in this time period, post accountancy, is to just figure out what I want to do. And the way I'm going to do that is do nothing. What do you mean you're going to do nothing? You can't just do nothing. Like, no, you can. You can do nothing. And what happens is nothing gets boring very, very quickly. Because nothing is this. What do you get up and do with your time? What do you want to do? There's no restrictions. You can do whatever you want. I played guitar. I sang. I made YouTube videos. Oh, wait, what am I doing now? I'm singing. I'm playing guitar. I'm making YouTube videos. It's doing podcasts. It's things I want to do. I had conversations with friends. It's things I want to do. That's what I need to learn how to monetize. And then your energy can go, okay, now it's going in the right... all my previous stuff has all come to a head now. And it's like, I have the skill set to be able to monetize what I do. I know how to process the finances because of accountancy. Once I've got the money, I can buy a house with the knowledge I had from being an estate agent. I know how to get my houses that have come on the market early. Like, I know all of this now. Everything is being pushing in this direction, and you find it, and it's a beautiful moment in time. So
you've got two brilliant points there. One is do nothing, because ultimately
I can't believe that's a brilliant point, but it really
like
works.
Whatever you spend your time with when you do nothing is probably likely what you want to do. So if you do nothing, what you fill your time with is quite clearly what you love. That's quite simple. The second... What did you say? So do nothing and then expand upon... What was the second point you made?
Find the things that you want to do, and then it directionally pushes you in to...
Yeah, this is the point I was going to make. Is also, don't then ignore the previous experience you've got. Skills are transferable, and everything you've learned in the past doesn't then just become irrelevant. You've got such a wealth of knowledge that you can then draw on when you want to change into new avenue or way of life. So where you've come from does not become irrelevant. It helps you grow. It's like when you step into a new relationship after a breakup. That old breakup doesn't just go, oh, it's gone now, I'm going to ignore all the lessons I learned from it. You're going to absorb the lessons, and it makes you a better partner in the next one.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I love that. Do nothing. Do nothing. There's also a little micro hack you can do. If you're procrastinating doing a thing, do nothing for 5-10 minutes, remove all distractions. Chances are you'll end up then doing that thing because you're bored.
Yeah. Have you heard the other one, which is do something harder?
No.
So if you need to do a hard thing and you're procrastinating it, do something harder first. Because then that, relatively, seems easier.
Yeah, I see the point you're making. That's an hormosy thing, isn't it? Let me guess.
Could be. Or it might be a Jordan Peterson thing. I don't know. Can't remember.
I feel like Jordan Peterson's all about, if you can't do anything, do the one thing that's easy. Make the barrier to entry lower. Which I agree with. Make the barrier to entry lower.
Yeah. Which is really annoying, isn't it? Because it's like, oh yeah, no, I agree with all your stuff. And it's annoying now because you've just called me out because you said some people can't even tidy their house. Like, get your house in order before you do anything. It's like, my house is a state because I don't clean.
Yeah, I think...
But I've circumvented it by still being successful.
But I also think how people look after their room and their house is a direct reflection on their internal state, personally.
Yeah, I'm wacko.
You're all over the place. My
Christmas tree.
is massive. It takes up a half the living room. Mine, ironically, is on the outside. It looks so clean and organized.
Yeah.
You open up a cupboard, you're like, what the is going on? That is perfect for me. It's astute.
Yeah. You package away your problems.
I'll ignore that. I'll come back to it in a few months.
When I need something. I need a suitcase.
Yeah. I don't know what I want. I just know what I don't want. Paraphrasing, but that was the next one. I judge others for things I secretly struggle with. I judge others for things I secretly struggle with. So judgment is often unintegrated self-awareness. Or it doesn't even have to be unintegrated. It could just be self-awareness on an issue. But because you judge yourself for it, you're also judging other people for it. So it's quite a hard pill to swallow because it's so self-reflecting. Because you're seeing something that you don't like being mirrored back. And rather than fixing it for yourself, you're judging someone else for it.
Yeah.
Why do we think we judge other people for things we struggle with? Do you think it's a defense mechanism? If so. I can pick at people, if I can make someone else feel worse, it's going to make me feel better.
You're probably annoyed at yourself because of the thing. And you can't have an argument with yourself, but you can have an argument with somebody else. So if somebody else is displaying the very thing you're annoyed at yourself about, you can justifiably have a go at them for it because you know it's not correct, which is like you having a go at yourself, and it's still justified.
I suppose it's also unfinished understanding. So if I'm angry at someone for something that I also struggle with, maybe I haven't fully understood why I struggle with it. So it's easy for me to outwardly express towards you because I don't like the thing you've done, but I can't fully understand it and how it affects me, so I'm just going to outwardly attack someone else. Maybe it's the spotlight effect as well, so we tend to be hyper aware of flaws in others rather than internally looking at ourselves. It's easier to point out 10 flaws in someone else than it is one in yours.
Yeah, well, I have no flaws, so.
Let me get my list out, William. You have a bad beard. Point number 1. It wasn't me, it was the list, mate. It was the list.
Wow. My beard is great. It is deliberately... It's sending the signals I need it to send.
Which is?
I am a man.
I'm unemployed.
Yeah. I'm unemployed. If my landlady kicks me out, I'm homeless. I should not be trusted.
Don't leave me around your children.
Hey, I'm good with kids. But the beard doesn't say that.
No, the beard doesn't say that. So I think this one here, I judge others for things that I secretly struggle with, is psychological protection, really. So it's a defense mechanism where individuals unconsciously project their own unacceptable failings, unintegrated failings, traits or faults onto others. So you're projecting it onto them and then judging someone else for being insecure of something and distancing yourself from your own insecurity.
Do you want an example?
Please do.
I have got Soph for her not doing the cleaning.
And you don't do the cleaning.
And I never do the cleaning. And I'm annoyed at myself. I don't know. I need to figure out why I have such a mental block towards cleaning. I just can't do it. It's horrible.
Where do you think that comes from?
I genuinely don't know. I just hate it. Absolutely. Like, I can't... when you've got homework to do or revision to do for an exam, and there's all you've got to do really is sit, instead of sitting in a chair watching TV, you've got to sit in a chair and look at your laptop screen. That's the only physical difference. And then you've just got to do, searching around different web browsers. Like, there's a mental block to you doing it, and what is that? I can't figure out what it is.
Do you know what you should do? Let's do something harder.
I should clean a whole hotel.
Clean your car. That's definitely harder than cleaning the house.
No. Yes. The car is like one room, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
The house is many rooms.
So you've probably got things living in your car.
Yeah, I've actually got my own little algae. Is it algae or algae?
Algae.
Algae is American algae.
I have no idea.
So it's aluminum.
Aluminum. Yeah, mountain.
Mountain.
Yeah, no T in there. Mountain.
Mountain. Yeah.
Yeah. So suppose, how do you move from judging others? How do you move away from judging others? Do you think it's self-acceptance? Do you think it's inner work? Do you think it's ignoring the problem? Maybe I'm not trying to solve it, but I think for me it would be self-compassion first. So using the judgments as a guidepost to understanding what it is that you don't like. Where am I flawed? How does this make me feel uncomfortable? You know, often what you resist persists. So you've got to look at the issue that you are perceiving in others to have a further understanding of how that would affect you.
Yeah. I think it is compassion. I think it's a little bit of empathy, understanding that you're not going to fully understand everything that's happened in that person's life to get them to this point to do the thing that is unadmirable.
So what do you judge people for? I've got one that I can clearly give to you, and it probably won't make much sense to you, and it will shine me in maybe a negative light because it is a judgment and I'm being completely honest here. But people that are out of shape, not just out of shape, but fat, overweight. I judge people for that, and quite harshly too, because I judge one of my biggest fears is being out of shape and fat, being unhealthy. Is honestly a really big fear of mine.
It's like looking at the version of yourself you don't want to become, and taking that on board as if that was you, and treating them like you would treat yourself if you did that.
Yeah, this is it. I'm terrified of it. I'm terrified of getting old, but you can't change that.
Yeah.
Whereas being out of shape to some degree, for a large degree, is in your control. So I do judge people for it, but that again is without compassion. It's not understanding their story, their struggles, their life, what they've been through. It's just something I have a really negative view on, and it's quite hard because I don't look with compassion at those times.
Oh, I appreciate you sharing that. I think I'm similar, to be fair. Because I as much as I don't work out, I'm not fat.
No, you're not.
It's a difficult line for me to walk because I've had it easy in terms of my metabolism.
I'm going to cut that and play that to you when we're in the gym next. You're like, look, I've got fat. And I'm like, that's skin.
No, but I do.
But you're not fat,
That is
William.
fat.
You're not fat, William.
I do carry fat because everyone carries
Everyone
fat.
carries fat,
Yeah.
yes. But if that's
and
the degree...
skin is that, it's that thickness.
If the difference between, like, fat around your organs, which keeps you healthy, and then excess
Does
fat.
it?
Yes, your body needs fat.
Does it?
Yes. That's why if someone's in single-digit body fat, that's unhealthy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Why do we think we have BMI? Obviously, BMI is wildly sort of...
Skewed.
Skewed, yes. But why do we think we have body fat indexes where unhealthy levels of, like, being skinny?
Me and my middle brother, well, until recently I had it, but my middle brother still has it, is like with single-digit fat. It's crazy. The thing that I judge people for is when you are visibly young, as in probably sub 30, because that is the cutoff for young.
Sub 30.
Sub 30.
Does it include 30?
No, of course not.
Damn. So close.
And they have a new car. I judge them for that. There's better places you could have spent your money. There's no car in the world that is going to change your life as a 20-year-old, as a 17 to 30-year-old. Any car will do if it gets you from point A to point B. Your money was much better spent in an investment vehicle or saving towards a house or just bettering your own self-development and your learning about how to get better in a job than it was buying that car. And even more than that, if you've got a car on finance.
So where does that judgment come from? Do you think it's envy?
It's frustration that they've circumvented the system. In my view, if you want to buy something, you should be able to buy it, not get a loan to buy it. With maybe the one exception being a house, but even then I would rather own a house cash. I don't want to be a slave to any lender, which is actually a biblical thing. I can't remember the character's name. The borrower is slave to the lender is the idea. And And it's true. It's like you have less options the more you owe. These are the same people who buy these cars on finance that are then complaining they don't have any money. It's like, of course you don't have any money. You've got a car that should only be owned by somebody earning 70 to 100 grand a year, and you earn £20,000 a year. Of course you have no money.
It's a very different discussion to be had regarding why the system is designed that way. And there's definitely an interesting discussion to be had that. But yeah, in terms of the judgment, yeah, maybe there's envy that plays a part. Maybe it's that they've gamified the system. Maybe it's they've got skewed priorities. Maybe it's because those priorities don't align with Will Taylor's priorities. But a good place to maybe start for both of us is cultivating some empathy towards them and us.
It's very difficult to have empathy for the dick. If you own a car on finance, you're a dick. Like Soph, when I first met Soph, she had 2 months left to pay on her car. I said, I will not date you until you've paid off your car. And then after that, just to prove how strong I was, I waited an additional 10 months before asking her out. But yeah, I was like, I can't date you if you've got a car payment. You're fundamentally flawed if you've got a car payment. Like, it's because the deposit you have to put down on cars with the car payment is enough to buy a car.
Yeah.
It's not a flashy car, but it gets you from point A to point B. It's like, that's what a car does. Who cares? Nobody thinks. People are so caught up with their own stuff. Nobody cares what you drive. If you drive it, you should do it because you like the car, not because you're trying to signal to everybody else. But buy the car. Don't get it on a loan. The interest rates on car loans are insane. They're like they slip past the thing of, the 2008 financial crash where you had AAA loans, you had triple B loans, triple C loans, stat loans. Then eventually they were considered diversified and the whole thing came down. Same thing happened with car loans. It's all going to implode and everyone's going to, multiple car loans. Like the average car loan in America is over $700 a month. Like, that's all going to implode on itself and you didn't see it coming. Really? £700 a month. You didn't see that ever being a problem if the interest rates go up.
I think we touched on a nerve there.
It drives me insane because these are the same people that complain about having no money. You're an idiot.
There's a lot of judgment there.
Yeah, a little bit.
I love it. I didn't know quite there was that much judgment there. So maybe we need to focus on some empathy.
Maybe.
Maybe some internal self-acceptance, maybe?
Potentially.
Just little jumping off points that we could look into, maybe dip our toe in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to die on that hill.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you would be. But yeah, I suppose judging others for things you secretly struggle with, you just have to ask the questions like, what traits trigger me the most and why? What is it about that trigger that's causing me to have such judgment towards a person? Because in reality, you know nothing about that person and the decisions they've made. So what would cause that response within yourself? What would compassion towards yourself change about how you see others? For me, when I think about the feeling out of shape, compassion towards myself would probably allow me, one, to relax a little bit more in terms of my diet and my religious exercise activity. I'm terrified about going away because I'm going to have a couple of months off consistent gym work. I'll still be able to go to the gym, but it won't be as consistent as it can be, so I'll find that very challenging.
You're even considering training like a bodybuilder just to make sure you didn't lose too much muscle when you go away.
Yeah,
that's a big step.
Well, realistically, I'll probably have to do that when I'm away as well, because I don't think there'll be as much opportunities to train a little bit more functional.
You're going to have to eat everywhere you go as well.
Oh yeah, I'll do that.
Would you do that anyway?
Yeah, I can't wait to eat.
Just shovel it in.
I can't wait to eat.
Damn.
Yeah. All I gotta do is maintain. I'm not gonna try and gain or anything. Like, that's fine. But yeah, compassion, really. And it would help change the way I'd connect with others, rather than having this judgment towards them, which really should be directed towards myself. I'd have a little bit more empathy and compassion towards that person. Do you think awareness can exist without superiority?
Awareness of?
The judgment of the thing that's causing you grief without an element of superiority? Because I suppose you're casting judgment which makes you feel holier than thou. Again, with the gym element, it's like, well, I'm looking at these people with an air of superiority because I'm like, well, I didn't make those bad decisions.
Yeah, I think probably.
So awareness can exist without superiority. I think it must do.
Yeah.
Surely. Because you could have the ability to see and perceive without putting oneself above others. Again, it's that confidence versus arrogance element.
Yeah, I think a lot of empathy. If I was to have empathy for the scum that buy cars on finance, it would be that they just don't know any better. There's a lack of education regarding, how to spend your money, how to save your money. There's not a lesson in school that's like, this is the mathematical way of how money works.
But you're also there fighting against a system and societal pressures, because again, as we've discussed with the episode of caring more about, well, this was earlier in this episode, how my life looks than how it feels, having a nice car, people are going to perceive that to be pretty good, pretty impressive. This guy must be doing well because he's driving.
I don't think that's the perception anymore. I think the other thing it's done is it's ruined it for the people who actually can afford it. Because cars at one point in time, when there was no such thing as finance, were a status symbol.
Yeah.
And now you can't trust it. If I see a young guy driving around a Lamborghini now and he's genuinely earned it, my automatic thought process isn't, wow, he's done so well at such a young age. It's, oh, wow, he's got a car on finance and I hate him.
But maybe that's because that's your judgment on the system now, because you care that you would be able to earn that sort of high ticket item and it would show the status symbol. But because that status symbol has now been removed, your ability to maybe virtue signal has been removed or depleted.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's like people, as I say, have gamed the system. But then the other thing is, like, I'm young and I've known since I was a lot younger, like, how money works, and the only way I've learnt that is by self-educating through YouTube. It's like I learned, like, and also my parents had a massive hand in it as well, and like teaching me good fundamental principles of how to handle money and saving from a very young age and all of those things. So I've got to give them credit. But it's been amplified by my own learning and education. When other people were gaming, or I don't know what other people were doing because I wasn't doing it. Like, I was just watching YouTube videos on how to have good personal finance. It makes sense. We've all got to deal with money and everyone wants more. So why wouldn't you learn and get the best jump on life possible? Because these are the same people that have a car and finance that are then going to go on to be in their 30s and 40s that are still not going to have good financial principles and still going to be poor. And then it's the people who do have good financial principles that are going to be paying for them to live in tax money.
So maybe the reason this is causing you so much grief is because of the values you were raised with. You're very much taught to look after yourself, have clear definition of how to earn your money and how to continue to earn money, that you're not a drain on resources, you're a surplus to resources. Whereas people that have poor financial literacy use the system in the sense of car repayments, whatever it might be, maybe don't have the same level of literacy, and it questions your values, and that's why it's difficult.
And also, it's a difficult one morally from the car manufacturer's perspective, because they are financially aware. Like, Mercedes knows that the reason they've got cars on finance is because it increases sales.
Yeah.
Like, morally, I would say if you can't prove that you've got that amount in your bank account to buy the full car there and then, you should not be eligible. Morally, how can they sell cars to people?
But it's not moral, though, is it? Morality doesn't come into it when it comes to that sort of level of sales.
But it should do.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. But,
and again, maybe that's an issue for you because you have very clear morals.
I know I could make money if I was to sell a course, for example, that you could pay for on finance, to do with YouTube or to do with learning how to play guitar or both. I know I could, and you pay monthly for it, and I'd get way more sales because I'm convinced my audience has no money. That I would never bring myself to do. Watch me go and do it now.
Yeah.
But
I'll come in tomorrow, but Connor, I've had an amazing idea. Of like,
I was up all night. I was grinding. I've made this full guitar course. I've learned all the tablature. But you can make way more sales. But should you? Because you're actually hurting your customers at that point, long term. And are they going to blame you? No, they get a cool car. But if you were selling something less cool, would people still buy on finance? What else do people buy? I mean, people buy clothes on finance, but they're cool. Like, if it got to the point where you wanted to go out for a fancy meal and the restaurants allowed you to pay on finance, like, you imagine the news story if that was to happen.
Technology, laptops, phones.
Yeah, but they're all cool.
Finance. It's all things that people assume is going to make their life better. Really?
Yeah, or just status signaling, isn't it?
Both
like having a nice laptop says I earn enough money to have a nice laptop. It just does.
But it also feels good when, I went from a laptop that took 20 minutes to turn on to now a laptop that's unbelievably quick. I bought this outright. I can afford this outright. So I did it.
Yeah.
And the difference has had an impact on my life is huge. Sure, it looks great and I can stick fancy stickers on and walk around with a brand new MacBook Pro, but the difference it has to my life is huge.
Yeah. And the fact that you walk around and it's just like you like it for its benefits as a product, and you've got a relaxed mindset about it because you know it's not costing you every month.
I also tell everyone that I meet I have a brand new MacBook Pro. It's the first thing I say. Like, hi, I'm Connor. I have a brand new MacBook Pro.
With the Bill sticker on it.
Oh, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Go Bills. Was that the right side?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Right, okay.
You got it.
Go Bills.
What's the other one? Don't hate me just because I'm a little cooler.
Is that the first time you've read that sticker? It's been in front of you for months.
To be honest, I only noticed it like a couple of episodes ago.
How good is that sticker?
And I only read like the "Don't hate me" line, and I was like, "Oh, it's probably just some sort of hippy dippy something."
I love that sticker. I got it when I was in the States. So
it's really
October.
Good.
We're in December now. We filmed a good few episodes since then.
We have. That's brilliant.
But how good is that sticker? Don't hate me just because I'm a little cooler. And it's a little cooler. Ah! I saw it. I was like, I've got to have it. And they're like, it's $5. I'm like, what?
My goodness.
I was like, fuck it.
Do you have that on finance?
Can I pay in 4? Let me stick it on a credit card.
Don't even get me started on credit cards.
I've got a credit card.
I've got a credit card, but it's... No.
But credit cards you can game the system with.
Nope.
I mean, your views have changed. When you were younger, you were like, use a credit card like you use a debit card.
I was poorly educated. Well, so here's the reason why you would use a credit card. Just so you can get into more debt more easily.
Improve your credit score?
Yeah, that's how you do it. You've got to have a low utilization rate on your available credit. And that's also the same with car loans. If you pay all your car loans on time, then it boosts your credit score, meaning you can get a cheaper rate mortgage. But what that doesn't take into consideration is all the interest you would pay on those car loans. Car loans are just shocking, absolutely shocking. At least with credit cards, you don't have to pay the interest rate, but you're tempting fate. The reason I got a credit card when I was 18 was so that I could go abroad and spend money without a transaction fee, and I was protected. That was why I got that, and it was paid off every single month when I did it, and it was only when I go travelling that I used it. And since then, I realised there's now bank accounts. I don't know if there were at the time. As I say, I wasn't that well educated.
No, at the time there wasn't. It was Starling, it was Halifax Clarity credit card. And now there's Starling, there's Monzo, there's Revolut, there's all different debit cards you can use.
And you can use
transaction fees.
Yeah. So now I just use, like when we went to Prague, we just used Soph's debit card, which didn't get around the problem because she has like, yeah, let's buy it, woo! And just spending loads of money. Like, oh, do you take card? Perfect, take my card. Oh, I have a tip. Babe, we're splitting this 50-50. What are you doing? Just let him suffer. We did buy a homeless man a coffee though.
Did you? What if he doesn't like coffee?
Tough.
He got it.
If nothing else, it would warm his hands.
He's like, no decaf, mate. Oat milk, please.
It was a black Americano.
No, okay. Can't go wrong.
Yeah. Fun. You can find milk. Like you can go to like markets or just pick up like a little thing of milk if you need, Pour a little bit out, fill up lots of those little milks, you've got a latte.
Okay.
There you go. Changing the world, one coffee at a time.
I like it. So, Will, we went through 3 different ones here. I care more about how my life looks than how it feels. I don't actually know what I want. I just know what I don't want. I judge others for things I secretly struggle with. Any that jump out for you?
I mean, it's fundamental. I hate people who who have things that they can't afford. Like, it's just, you've done it. Like, you've bought the thing, and it's not fair that you can have it. Like, I'm doing everything right, and you can have the thing.
You can also have the thing.
No, not outright. Because there's different priorities. That's what it comes down to. And it's like, dumb people get nice things and smart people don't. That's the world we now live in.
So for you, I judge others for things I secretly struggle with, but also a little bit of you care about how my life looks rather than how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think for me, it was also I care about how my life looks more than how it feels.
It's a good one.
That was a really cool insight. That was a good episode.
It was a really good episode.
I've written down my word.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm ready for yours.
Lavish.
I was never going to get that, was I?
Well, you said desk last time.
I don't know big words.